Hello, traders. It's E from MarketWizards.com, and it's Sunday morning, just before noon, the third day of March 2024. Reminding traders to use risk capital you can afford to lose. So to do a quick update video, talking about the spider pattern. It's a pattern that I've seen before and recognized, and let's go over a few of the dynamics. And this is, we'll probably talk about this in my latest blog, which I posted late yesterday. Let's take a look at spider pattern that occurs in fractals over and over and over in different time frames. And right now what we're looking at is basically a sanitized chart of Friday's activity. No indicators on, no other advanced declines, nothing, just a pure bars, black and white. So much easier to read a pattern without a lot of nonsense in between. So I try to always have a chart like this available and where I can see things. And because these smaller time frames, this is a 5-minute chart, because these happen so often, meaning there's so many more patterns that can be discerned in a 5-minute chart than in a daily, simply because there's so many more opportunities, so many more 5-minute rotations. You have to wait a long time to see this stuff in say a daily or a weekly chart, even monthlies. So with that in mind, we're looking at Friday's chart, and we can see this little double up here holds early. We come down, and you and I are probably sleeping. I know I am. And we get this sell, and then we dig in, holding above the 18, holding above what I had put on my chart as support back in that just under 18. And then we get some rotations and we get into the day, and all of a sudden we get what I call the third time through trade. Here's one. This little double here is two. And then the third time we come through it. First time we abort, come right back, but then we go above it. And this is where I had posted to a few people that I was trading with. Remember, this 144 was last week's high, and that's going to be critical to stay above that if we're going to run. And we did. We held that, and then we ran, and who knows how high once it breaks out. But we have measures to understand where it could go, but nobody knows exactly where it's going to stall. You know, my final thought was at the most we would get to during the day could be the 98s, because that was a system pivot. But I said maybe 20% possibility there. I think we should be paid by that 359 to 362 area, 365. That's it. Because timing was becoming an issue, and obviously anybody had a great day was going to start to take their profits, and including weeklies and including day traders. So this is a pattern. Now I want to come back to this, but let's go back and look at a few other things to see this idea and how this can be duplicated and understood in other time frames. Going back a while to to earlier locations where we were back in the 17.4s. Uh, this was a chart that I had posted, and I think we have reversed. I mean, we had been selling and selling, and then at some point you determine that, okay, this is a pretty strong move end of the day, and this is where I don't want to reverse it. Because the market itself has gone and completely reversed. So I'd rather be going with the trend rather than to fight it. And perhaps we're coming into now a buy. And a lot of the shorts at this point still didn't believe it and still don't even after Friday. But nevertheless, this is how you start to create your own bias, and hopefully not too strong. Here's the E-mini S&P. And a week or so ago, I had posted this chart. I could see the big W. I said, okay, this is a W for the win. We're holding a major support. This line is a pretty important line to me. That's the rain line. Above the rain line, we're going long. Below it, we're going short. Okay, as a general rule. If we get too far stretched from it, then we need to come back and migrate. But you still need to beat some of the other lines. Now, this is a bit chaotic if you're not used to looking at sigmas, but certainly you can see the big premise of the W. And here was where I'd posted in studying this pattern, the spider pattern that I had posted, that this is your retest area right here. If you cannot break down this retest line, then you're still chopping above trying to go higher. And if we break this, I have found in studying the smaller patterns that the most important area is right here. That if you can come all the way back here and then still go, but if you break down this area, then that pattern is in danger. And more than likely, if you come back here, it could be that head and shoulders top area rather than the spider pattern. So that's one of the things I'm looking for is to hold. And we did. We held that beautifully. And now we can see the follow through on Friday of this pattern that we've held, pushed up, and start to expand, coming long side on a breakout. Very powerful idea. And my targets, I looked at 143 and a quarter to 150. There's a natural pivot up here at 150, 51, 56 and a quarter, I believe. Right near where the great trader Pax had his target, I think 55 area, and certainly could have gotten that, but just the market eventually stalled right near 50 and said, all right, time to let's not quibble about a few points. Let's make sure we get paid. So this we can see still, this is still intact. And we can see in this pattern how this is your spider, the body of the spider, and this is the arm of the spider reaching up to pull itself up. One is pushing down and one is reaching to push up and reach and pull itself up to the top of the right corner. And that we can see, obviously, when we click back and look at the smaller time frames, how that pattern evolves. Now, here's the NQ, and you can see generally this W that's here, but it's not as cleanly defined, and yet we can still see that we have the reversal area back down here. This is supportive. And we can understand, okay, I guess we have a W here and here and here and here, but we have not broken out because this is a double top. And that's what I recognized at the time, that this is more neutral. And this is in kind of no man's land here. We know this is our aggressive pivot just by definition, because we already know what our price ladder tells us in the system, 812.50. People don't understand it, but there is a logical price ladder that occurs. And once you understand that system, it allows you to leg off of these ideas and say, no, as long as that's intact, the market is still trying to bounce. Simple as that. We don't fight the system. We try to understand it and use it to our advantage. Same thing that we talked about. If we got back under this, then this is much more neutral down here. Break this, much more negative. And down here, you're definitely reversing. And now we can see the follow through and we get this powerful breakout bar, this confirming the ES as well. The double top here and here has been broken. And now we have this third time through. We had a problem trying to get through here, but finally, bang, We get this, and don't forget, this is the beginning of the month, which is normally the most powerful time. If you're going to make progress, it's the new money coming in. You're going to get it at the end of the month. And I, with someone that I was trading with, I'd said, a lot of times we will get a very large down day just before the beginning of the month, and that's where they trap all the shorts, thinking psychology wise, okay, we got them now, we're coming back. But really, it's just for a better buying opportunity. And we've already identified the neighborhood we want to hold. So that's my aggressive support in here in the smaller frame. And that holds, and then up we go. So this is now confirming that as a third time through spider pattern. And clearly, we can see that now that we're making a higher high. Now here's a chart that I had posted. People, you have your own system. I've got mine. And one of my tools is keep track of large numbers. And we can see coming back to the 21st, that was the completion of 1,000-point trade. Now, you may not have gotten all of that, and I may not have gotten all that, but the math is the math, and somebody wants to take some profits. So why in the world at the end of the week, at the end of this run, wouldn't somebody say, okay, that's a good place to take some profits? You cannot argue with the empirical evidence. Simple as that. So this is a bonus idea for those of you who are looking at this video to keep track of things like this, to give credibility to your ideas. So here we are back to where we started, our original premise. Spider pattern. This is a fractal inside that larger one that we have just shown. This is a 5-minute chart. And we can do this on any dynamic that we want, but clearly we can see the platform that exists here and holds and reaches up saying, I'm going here. It doesn't mean that you won't get little swings along the way. And certainly this was a powerful day. But again, I attribute a lot of that to the beginning of the month money coming in. Let's take a look at, a couple other time frames. Here's your 10-minute chart. Same location. 144's previous week's high. Make sure that you understand we're on a breakout if we get above that on that basis. And we can do breakout targets, these extensions. Anybody that looked at one of the posts I made this morning on X, I showed a guy standing on an extension ladder. I hope you get the meaning that I'm suggesting there. All of our experiences serve us, but we have extensions, we have retracements, and why wouldn't you have measures like the great Anthony Credelli's got his target, not too far away from where we are at 450. I've got my own measures, but come on, there's got to be a system that you employ, not just market profile that's predicated on the past, but what if we get to all new highs, what can we do? What can we go to? It's important to think outside the box. There's a 30. Less able to see it here, but we know it exists just by leaving these ideas here. 3-minute chart. People used to laugh and say, guys are using 1-minute charts. Come on. Well, yeah, why not? If you've got something that works, come on. This is a squeeze. We can see that. Here's your 1-minute chart. Still the same frame of reference. And that spider arm is reaching up and saying, I got you. I got you. Everybody who wanted a pullback at lunch, I thought we'd get one at lunch. I go have my lunch, come back. This thing is still going. I'm still looking at the moving averages racing up. And I said, okay, later in the day, higher the price will be the better time to short if you want to take a shot at it. End of the day, after 3 o'clock, retest failure leg, stall, and then we come back into the close gently as profits are being taken. 30-second chart, which I now use. About a year ago, I started using that, and it's been really helpful with the NASDAQ. Here it is. Boom, boom. News. Opening. Come back. Hold. And off to the races. Sideways for a bit. Late morning. Breakout at lunch, going higher highs. Finally, 3 o'clock comes. Finally, retest failure leg. Boom. I posted that on X. You'll see that too. We almost never just get a plunge without a retest failure leg. And it doesn't have to come all the way up to the top. But if it fails there, then that's usually a good signal. Okay, maybe we got it right. And this was a timing trade more than anything into the end of the day. I'd hoped to make this a little bit briefer than this, but I felt it was worth taking the time to show the dynamics and how the fractals repeat over and over. And now just one simple pattern recognition can help our trading. To me, there's nothing more challenging than what I call a rabid dog day, and certainly Friday qualifies, where the rotations are just so small that you cannot get out. And you try averaging in to get out, and you just keep adding to your pain. The sooner you recognize a rabid dog day like that, the better. And this just happened to have a number of elements coming together that I think probably hurt a lot of people, and doing my part to try to help teach a few people who would like to learn, some free. Sometimes I charge for courses to try to teach this stuff in more detail. We'll have a special coming out probably in a week. And if you're interested, then check it out. If not, hope to see you out there on X. Thanks for listening and have a wonderful weekend.